So what we're going to do is once I get on, I'm going to blow it up. And then, you know, everybody can start, you know, checking it out as I go through the Google Hangout and YouTube. All right. So anybody that can help with the fundraiser, you know, put some funds towards that, please do. Appreciate that very much, you know, because it's necessary, like we spoke of earlier. And also, you know, anybody can that, you know, that's on what we refer to as YouTube, Google Hangout, that can super chat, you know, please do. You know, last night, you know, basically I probably need to change the name to Last Night Title to we got 5 on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was live up in here last night on Google Hangout and on YouTube. All right, so let me get it in. All right, let's go. Bam, bam. We're gonna put it on together here. Let's see if I can make that clearer and bigger. All right, it is. All right, so, you know, scientists confirm extraterrestrial genes in human DNA. Now, let's see how they figure that shit out. Research findings continue of DNA Nobel Prize winner Dr. Francis Crick by Peter Jang and Jenny Lee. Now, of course, this is them here. The Albion, of course, is Dr. Francis Crick and Peter Jang and Jenny Lee. These are the 2 here, doctors. And basically it says collaborative exo-scientific research efforts inspired by Dr. Michael Sadler suggest that within the estimates over 20 types of extraterrestrial genes within human DNA lie psychokinetic abilities associated with the genetic memories of ancient terrestrial races. The recorded healing abilities which individuals, for example, in Aboriginal communities, let's go back to that. The recorded healing abilities which individuals from, for example, in Aboriginal community across the world has demonstrated in relations to their spirituality. The existence of diverse ethno-racial communities of humanity on Earth, perhaps providing a further visible appearance of extraterrestrials, ET, genetic communities, African tribes, including Dogon, notably, cite evidence of having origin from races of supernatural creatures that came down from the sky. Hopi Indians in the Western United States speaks of how the star beings, the star ancestors, can travel about the sky in beams of light like the sun, called Tachyon energy. The movie in which that reveals this science is K-Pax. Go and watch the movie K-Pax. K-P-A-X, K-Pax. All right? Kevin Spacey. All right? And in the movie, it was shown that he had to come forth on a beam of light. However, the sister was able to take her whole body with her, because the only thing he was able to bring was his consciousness on the beam of light. And he had to inhibit I guess you would say, a clear picture. What is it? Had to basically inhibit, you know, someone who was in a coma. You know what I'm saying? Someone who was out of it completely. Right, in a deep psychotic state, or right, psychosis, or however we want to refer to that. Well, yeah, you know, so but we saw in that movie, you know, that the sister, because they went looking for the sister, you know, and they only showed the sister a few times in the movie. So, you know, everybody was running around trying to be the one to go to the world with them, and it was the sister. And what was so crazy that he was in a crazy house. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, let me give the proper terminology. You can't say crazy house.
Psychiatric ward.
A psychiatric ward, yes. Yeah, so the Hopi Indians in the Western United States speaks of how the star beings can travel about the skies in beams of light like the sun, all right? But now understand, that's also referring to the macabre. The macabre is actually tachyon energy, which you can transform your aura into, all right? But in the blackness of night, stories like these are identical to what I personally have heard of African medicine men, shamans, such as Khadirah Mutuar claims. Such exact scenarios that before the missionaries came onto the scene, it was also commonplace among all tribes and shamans that our origins were from out there, or rather interdimensional, because that's how you really go through. Hold on.
Y'all, that's every day. Okay, this little small little town.
Yeah,
we gotta fix it.
Yeah, too much shit going on up in here. I mean, every damn second. You know what I'm saying?
So maybe we can also start doing group meditations.
Yeah, we're gonna start definitely doing the group meditations. But right here, same scenario that before the missionaries came onto the scene, it was also commonplace among all tribes and shamans that our origins were from out there. In the 1998 interview, Clifford Stoner, a retired United States sergeant who served in the United States Army for 22 years, in association with other interviews, confirmed the existence of extraterrestrials who are human and can easily integrate into human societies and are visibly indistinguishable from the rest of humanity. These officials also indicate that the races are described to be from star systems such as Lyra, Pleiades, Sirius, Procyon, Tushiti, Ummo, Andromeda, and Arcturus, and who have provided some of the genetic material for seeding of humanity on Earth. All right, so just keep this in mind, because you go to a book called The Explorer Races, Zorsch Enden, end time historian through Robert Shapiro. The question is, who was the first? Well, they're going to give it to you. I would say that the Syrians, both positive and negative, who were here about the same time, they were the founding beings. The Syrians have been involved in the beginning of the seeding of this planet in the creation of darker skinned races. Why? Because they themselves were darker skinned races. The area of the Pleiades and the Sirius created beings here, the Tone civilization, or their offshoots, including Jehovah's group and other representatives from very positive and loving places on Sirius who followed Jehovah millions of years later, all have one thing in common: dark skin. You pale skins didn't come along until a whole lot later. This is what is in the book. Dark like Africans or Indians, or like Africans, ranging all the way to lighter skinned people from India, and probably as light as olive like people from the Mediterranean. We're talking about ranges from dark to olive. No pale faces until much later. You know why? They felt that not only were they already the color, but the sun's energy was so strong that beings, the third planet from the sun, the dark-skinned races, would be more durable. I might add that the light-skinned races were really never intended to be on this planet. Johnny-come-latelys. I didn't say this. This is from a European, Albion, who's getting channel information. And the name of the book is called Explorer Race. All right, so who are the Syrian beings? Well, let's get to it. all right? Because the Syrian beings, as it says, was the Africans, and one of the oldest deities in which that they connect with is the crocodile deity or god or nature named Sebek, right? So that's supposed to be a pagan origin of the word of the Bible, right? The word Mashiach or Messi, all right? Now Messi, a Messiah, all right? Now Messi or Messiah is the Egyptian crocodile god. Now the New Testament Greek word for anointed or anoint is chriso, which means to smear or rub with oil. The anointing of the priest kings date back to an ancient Egyptian tradition. The interesting thing is that the oil which was used in Egypt came from crocodiles, which was called Messi. Hence the word Messiah or Messiah or anointed king came out to be. According to one account, the pharaoh bride was required to anoint him before their marriage with oil drawn from the fat of the holy and deified crocodile, Messa. This is from Sir Lawrence Gardner, The Hidden History of Jesus and the Holy Grail. Get that book. In another version, crocodile oil was used to anoint Pharaoh for his coronation. Thus, the crocodile god gave up the life to foster the reign of the earthly god, the Pharaoh, right? Egyptian term Messa was allegedly adopted by the Hebrews 1250 BCE as the word what? Mashiach, which means anointed. The Hebrew word for anointed was then Hellenized by the Greeks to Christos and later by the English to Messiah and Christ. The word Christos means anointed, coming from the Greek word Chrisoro, meaning to smear or anoint. The Book of the Dead, misnomer by E.A. Wallace Budge, actually is the book come forth by day and night. Open up the mouth ceremony. Suggests that Sebek, the crocodile closest to Horus Heru, can be traced back to his participation in the birth of this god. Right? So Sebek birthed or helped birth Heru or Horus into existence. So Sebek was responsible for calling Isis and Nephti, which is Nebhet, to aid in the protection of the dead. He was the god from the dark water, all right? Hence black water. Sebek may have been an early fertility god and associated with the death and burial. He was at once an aggressive and dangerous god, but also links to the procreation and vegetative fertility, that latter by being obviously close to the Nile and the fertile green banks and fields. Partly for this reason, Sebek is also linked to the color green, hence the heart chakra. Venus, five-pointed star. Sebek is also said to be the son of Neith or Nut, also very ancient goddess deity, right? The gods and queens, well, excuse me, the kings and queens of the 13th dynastic particularly favored the cult of Sebek, all right? The kings and queens alike would incorporate the name of the god in their titles. For example, Sebek Heptet, all right? Sebek is merciful or satisfying. In this connection, Sebek closely related to the royal god Horus, Heru. And there are also a number of depictions of Sebek as a crocodile with the head of a falcon adorned with the double crown. Hence, the falcon is, once again, Heru. According to the ancient visitor Strabo, written in the 1st century BCE, records his visit to the shrine of Sebek, all right, occupied by then the Roman prefect of Egypt. He visited the temple that housed the sacred crocodile. As with all Sebek temples, there was a small pool where the living Sebek could live and leisure. When visitors arrived from a godly constellation, they would be required to call upon his name. Susho, Susho. As the animal responds and turns towards the visitor, that was considered a fairly good sign. The temple of the Sebek is in Komoobo, in Upper Egypt. Now, SEBEK shares his temple in due dedication, which includes Horus. Now, who is Horus? Horus is Heru, known as Hardwa, or Horus, the elder. All right, Hardwa, as Kimware is talking about melanin. Hardwa was the husband of Heket, the frog goddess responsible for the creation of the children, along with Khnum on the potter's wheel. The god responsible for fashioning children of his pot on his potter's wheel, the Ba and the Ka, the spirit and the soul. Right? So right here, facts. Blacks came from star Sirius, which in the modern days called heaven. Blacks did not come from the Ice Age and then turned Caucasians from black apes. This lie was conjured up by the Rosicrucians. Book in 1999, H.P. Lovecraft tells of Cthulhu mythology. Footnotes is important. Charles Darwin wanted mankind to believe that we came from apes. However, they cannot prove that black man came from apes. Even black scholars are saying some of the things that Charles Darwin is saying. What Rosicrucians wanted to cover up the black man is very ancient and blind, sided the whole the people worldwide. They wanted to blindside the people worldwide. All right. So yes, we might have people who's part of the Rosicrucians. However, you know, if you go and check the Theosophical Society's information, if you're a Theosophical member, they tell you specifically that man existed before the ape species, and that man created the ape species along with the other species upon this planet, and many other animals and creatures upon this planet was created by the so-called black man, the Syrian being. Right? This is what's going on. All right, this is what we want to make sure you understand. So here we have Sirius. All right, and then of course you have next to Sirius you have Missem or Mersem, become Missem. All right, you have Weezin, you have Alodora, and you have Adhora. All right, these are part of the Canis Major star system or constellations, or what is called the constellation Canis Major. Canis, of course, means dog. Hence the dog star. This is the major dogs in the sky, the major protector, right? And allegedly, according to the Dogons, we came from the star constellation Sirius. We were the Syrian beings, all right? Now, of course, the dog star is part of the Egyptian god or Necher Anubis or Ampu, who's connected to the Canis Major. As you see, this is in the image and after the likeness of the dog. All right, hence, you know, Canis Major, you know, which is Ampu, Anubis. So if you go and read Anu, which is Ampu, or Anubis, is the Lord of Heaven, king and absolute ruler of the Syrians. How do we know this? Because it's in your Quran. In the Holy Quran, 53rd Surah, it says, Al-Najm, the star. Yusuf Ali's version says that he is the Lord of Sirius, the mighty star. So Sirius is considered by the ancient Temerians or Kamal or Egyptians to be the most important star in the sky, who, based on astrology now, astrologically, all right, it's the foundation of our entire spiritual and physical lawful system. The Dogons say we came from Sirius. So the whole society is based on the foundation. The entire spiritual and physical lawful system is based on Sirius, coming from out of ancient Egypt. The Dogons were the ancient Egyptians, dating back to when they was in Egypt, dating over 8,000 years ago, 6,000 BCE. They left because of the experiments and things in which that was going on. Right, so we know about Anu. Anu, as we just said, is the Lord of Heaven, king, absolute ruler of the Syrians. All right, that's Anu, the God up there. That God also that's up there also translates to the God down in here, which is actually in your pineal gland, which is your divine soul. All right, get the book, The Akan, Doctrine of God by J.B. Dankua. All right. Now, Dan Kiwa says that Sri Duapan is the potent name for invocation in the Akan belief. Right? Only the grand tetragrammaton, Jehovah, can equal the magnanimous proportions of Sri M. Abdu'aban in the language of the Akan ecclesiastics. Here, Dan Kiwa is referring to the Kabbalistic invocation, all right, of Yahweh. The Kabbalists or Kabbalah itself originated with the beings from Sirius star system, right? The Moors, all right? It is from talking about the Tetragrammaton that I wondered whether Dankwa was a Freemason or a member of some other kind of secret society, since normal intellectuals, although they may do so, are, in my view, not likely to make the link between Sri Adu Apan and Jehovah in a Kabbalistic manner. So Akan ecclesiastics, as well as the Rastafarians, can now say Sri Adu Apan, Iya, Sri Adu Apan, Iya, Kesi, Sri Adu Apan, Kwame, Watumi, So, Fasi, Mu. Brew, which means Anu, Father Anu, Great Father Anu, who is Kwame. Esoteric meaning has to do with associated Anu with the qualities of the planet Saturn. Kwame, Saturday born, your power is great. Pound it in, calmly. That's what that translates to, and this is what he was saying in his book. All right, get the book. Talks about the god Sirius in the book. Right? The Dogon also knew the star Sirius B, right, had an elliptical orbit and orbital period of 50 years. Hence, the year you go to the Old Testament, it talks about the 50 years Jubilee period. The 50 years Jubilee period is in your Old Testament. This is talking about when Sirius A and Sirius B cross each other and then they exchange energy and flip-flop over each other. Furthermore, the Dogons knew of a third Sirius star that was only 25% as dense as Sirius B, when they called Emiya. So you have Polo Tolo, Ziggy Tolo, Sirius A and Sirius B. And Emiya, which is, of course, the Yoruba name for one of their deities, or Netchers or Orishas, which is part of the Seven Chakras system, correlating to Saturn, because we sit down arm from Sirius, and Sirius energy hits and bombards Saturn, in which that helps with the elliptical patterns of our DNA. That's the influence, as well as our blood manufacturing and our DNA manufacturing. Sirius B was known in ancient Arabic as El-Wazin, the weight. Not until 1995 did moderate astronomers Daniel Benes and J.L. DeVent discover the star Sirius C. And that's funny because the planet of the crossing, which is talking about Sirius C, is spoken of that it comes towards the planet Earth every 3,600 years. The reason why for the chemtrails is because to cover up the second sun that is in the sky, along with a third sun in which that is spoken of by Dr. Deborah Blair, which is called Kachina among the indigenous people here in the Americas. The Dogon claims that the Nommos, who are the keepers of the universe, will return to Earth and interact with humanity from the oceans. All right. So the Dogon claims that the Nommos, the Anunnakis, the Syrians, who are the keepers of the universe, the guardians of the universe. They showed you this. They keep showing you this in the movie, right? Which is in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Go and watch the movie. Right? Matter of fact, part 1 and part 2. It drops that information on you. right? The Gnostic Khadirah is derived from the Kemetic word Khadirah, which also gives birth to the word Krishna and Christ. So Krishna and Christ are derived from the Khadirah, found on the Egyptian monuments of Khadirah or Neb-Khadirah. Neb-Khadirah becomes Neb-Hiru. Neb-Hiru becomes Nubiru, meaning Lord Christ. All right, we're gonna wait till this loud ass shit pass right here. Now they just went one way. Now they coming. Now they coming back the other. Now they coming back the other way. All right, yes, definitely send some healing energy for whatever is taking place, because we hear this at least a few times a day. Like caress can be further derived from two names in the Great Mama. The Great Mama as Kar and Arset, right? Jet black virgin goddess Kar is the terrestrial mother and heart soul of Mother Earth, whose name yields Khadirah, as in cardiac, heart, core, care, cheer, and the goddess Arset, which is Isis, all right, who is also Mary, the mother of Jesus, was the radiant celestial mother, the queen of heaven. She's called within the Catholicism, within the Catholic Church, regarding the soul from soul or solar of the star called Sirius, the brightest star in the heavens. So for you to become the Christ, or to become the Messiah, or Krishna, or Khadirah, you must be connected to the star Sirius, the brightest star in the heavens. That's why the FBI set goal for COINTELPRO, and they put that shit out, doing what is called the Black Identity Extremists. Under Director J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI COINTEL counterintelligence program was aimed at investigating disrupting dissent political groups within the United States. In the 1960s, COINTELPRO targeted frequently including civil rights activists, both those who expounded nonviolence, like Martin Luther King, and those that J. Edgar Hoover referred to, Gay Edgar Hoover referred to as Black nationalist hate groups, like the Black Panthers. This document outlines the program goal and attempts to limit the effectiveness of such groups. In practice, the FBI used infiltration, legal harassment, disinformation, and sometimes actual legal intimidation and violence against King, the Panthers, and other Black activist groups in this attempt to discredit and disrupt them. Goal: for maximum efficiency of the COINTELPRO or counterintelligence program, to prevent wasted effort, long-range goals are being set. What is it? 1, prevent the coalition of militant Black nationalist groups in unity that is there in strength, a truism that is not less valid for all of the Trinitarians. It says an effective coalition of Black nationalist groups might be the first step towards a real Mau Black Revolutionary Army in America, the beginning of a true Black revolution. 2, prevent the rise of a Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is the martyr of the movement today. But of course, the FBI killed him, right? Because John Ali was an FBI agent and was the second in command, well, because he was the secretary, well, he was the third in command behind Herbert Muhammad, who was the son of Elijah Muhammad. All right? And it was John Ali who set up the event for Malcolm to be killed once he was speaking at the Audubon room. And you had these about 5 jackasses who listened to John Ali, because the whole thing, you know, they even threw Minister Farrakhan up in it, because during that same time period, Minister Farrakhan was going to New Jersey, to Newark, New Jersey, as a minister on rotation. All right. And even though Minister Farrakhan spoke that he might have sat up the hostility against Malcolm, he said he never called for Malcolm's death, you know what I'm saying? Because Elijah Muhammad told everybody to shut the hell up about that. However, John Ali had other plans because he was already an FBI agent working and infiltrated the organization. All right. And there was others. Matter of fact, you see the same dude who brought down the Black Panthers during the trial. All right. He's there over Malcolm's body at the Audubon Ballroom. See, this is the shit that you got to pay attention to. So it says here, here's the moral of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspired to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King may be very real contender for this position should he abandon his supposed obedience to white liberal doctrine, nonviolence, which he did. He did the last 3 years of his life, and this is when he started talking about the war of Vietnam and the Poor People's Campaign, so forth and so on, and started saying that that he was Black and he was proud, you know what I'm saying, and embraced black nationalism, and that's what he did. Now Carmichael, which is what we call Stokely Carmichael, which is Kwame Ture, had the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. But see, he took his behind to Africa. Okay, he went to Ghana, he went to Africa. Now, 3, prevent violence on part of the Black nationalist groups. This is a primary importance and is, of course, a goal of investigative activity. It should also be a goal of the counterintelligence program to pinpoint potential troublemakers and neutralize them before they exercise their potential for violence. 4, prevent militant Black nationalist groups and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them to 3 separate segments of the community. The goal of discrediting Black nationalists may be handled typically in 3 ways. You must discredit the group and the individuals. To first, the responsible Negro community. Second, they must be discredited to the white community. Both the responsible community and liberals will have vestige of sympathy for militant Black nationalists simply because they are Negroes. Third, these groups may be discredited in the eyes of the Negro radicals, the followers of the movement. This last area requires entirely different tactics from the first 2. Publicly about violent tendencies and radical statements merely enhance Black nationalists to the last group to add respectability in a different way. 5, a final goal that should be prevented, the long-range growth of militant Black organizations, especially among youth. Specifically, tactics to prevent these groups from converting young people must be developed. So, right. Also, Black people here is due to DNA symbol, which is made up of the universe. Spiraling in the hair of the Black people, the straight that hardly bends is the Caucasian folks. The lamb or sheep is the closest to the curly hair. Jesus was considered Black due to what the Bible states in Revelation, the 1st chapter, the 13th to the 16th verse. And the universal gods of the Black people on this planet. Hence, what we call within Nation of Gods and Earth, Nation of Islam. All right. Who's the Black man? The Black man is the maker, the owner, the cream of planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. All right. So the gods of the universe who seeded this planet were the Syrian beings who was your mothers and fathers. They look like you. It was melanated, and from them come forth the Messiah, or Mashiach, or Mashiach, the Messiah. And Messiah, the Christos, the anointed, divinely sent teacher or spirit, a messenger of God. The true root of this word is Egyptian mes or meskah, all right, which means place of birth or rebirth, once the generations and rebirth of the Messiah. The Messiah, or the Messiahs, who were the incarnations of the Son, was concealed, buried, and arose from the dead, and was symbolic in the raising and the setting of the sun. Messiahship represents a cycle and was wholly dependent upon the fulfillment of the cycles of the time. When the sun was elevated above the female or the moon, and the children El, or the child El, Adon, Aten, Adonai, or Imhotep, and other sun gods personated a Messiah, they became known as the son of the father instead of the mother. This is why Jesus said at 12, I had to go to be about my father's business. 12 symbolizes the sun moving through the 12 zodiac signs every 25,000 years. Hence, it's called a renewal of history within the nation of gods and earth and the nation of Islam. So the New Testament Greek word for anointed is chriso, which means to smear or rub, right? That's what we're talking about. And so when we go up, and you read that, right? Come down. Something important here, it says the Hebrew word for anointed was then Hellenized by the Greeks to Christos and later by the English to Messiah in Christ, right? So here it says the Book of the Dead, right, suggests that Sebeks, right? This is with an S, just like you've seen the Messiah is with an S. So it's not just going to be one Messiah. It's not just going to be one Sebek. The crocodile gods closest to Horus can be traced back to his participation in the birth of this god. So the anointing oil, since you can't get to the crocodile fat of an actual alligator, we created it for you, which is Sebek oil, which is 1 part myrrh, 1 part sandalwood, a few drops of lotus, and 1 part frankincense, which is today what we refer to, because remember, Jesus was bought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So frankincense and myrrh becomes necessary to anoint the child with, all right? The English word Mashiach or Messiah originate Aramaic Mashiach, which is the verb for Mashiach, means to anoint. The truth is that the word is of Egyptian origin, where Messeh signifies the ritual of anointing the ancient Egyptian king, including Tutankhamen or Tutankhamen, with the fat of crocodile. This tradition dates back to 2700 BCE, almost 3,000 years before Jesus. The concept of birth of Messiah without any sexual union originating in Egypt with goddess Isis or Set, who conceived the son Horus, Heru. The cosmic force responsible for the impregnation was Messiah, the crocodile star. So what is the crocodile star? As per spell 148 of the coffin text, the crocodile star Messiah strikes. The crocodile star. I'm telling you that the crocodile star is Sirius. Let's get serious. Let's get serious for your love. Let's get serious. Jermaine wasn't joking, goddammit. You better get serious on this shit here. Better get serious. Or Set wakes pregnant with the seed of our soul, Cyrus, namely Heru, Horus. All right, regards, Robert Mescarin. All right, so the crocodile star, Messiah, strikes. See, this becomes the Death Star in Star Wars. You get it? Oh, shit, now. So at the temple of Sebek, which is at Como Obo, the crocodile god, the bottom of the temple hierarchy is composed of ordinary priests who are known and called as pure ones. They perform most of the mundane activities involving to run the temple. Right? Members of the next rank was known as the servants of God. And these men assisted in the next and these men are assistants to the next rank, which are the fathers of gods. Right? So as you see, there's 3 steps. This is where What we refer to as masonry comes from the day, the entered apprentice, the fellow craftsman, and the master mason. The entered apprentice, the fellow craftsman, the master mason is the pure ones. All right, the servants of the gods, the fathers of the gods. Right, who makes most of the more important decisions. Commanding them all is the high priest, who is the pharaoh's appointed representative. He performs the next important rituals and acts as the chief administrator, hence Imhotep, or turned backwards is Ptah. All priests that great care to maintain the purity. They involve bathing twice every day or twice every night, and twice every night, using water from the sacred lake and shaving off all their body hair once every 3 days. Every day offerings are made to Sebek, all right, represented by a statue of a man with a head of a crocodile. The life-size statue is located in the temple sanctuary in the shrine called Nos. Right, the idol itself is not worship. It is used as a means of channeling prayers and offerings to the god. In other words, to the star constellation Sirius. All right, after being first consecrated via a ritual called opening the eyes and the mouth ceremony. Right, the opening of the eyes is talking about actually of the eye, the pineal gland, and then opening up the mouth is talking about at the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is correlated to the third eye. So once those two are open, then you can receive access to the crown chakra. Right, the largest statue of the gods stand out in the courtyard, and it is this statue that the common people make their offerings. Right, supplications are screened in the inner colonnade. All right, some wait patiently or quietly for their turn to approach the altar in the courtyard. Right, where occupying priests interpret the gods' responses to their prayers. Some altars are hollow. According to archaeologist theories, a priest can hide inside such a altar before the supplication enters. Supplicants enter where they allow him to pretend to be Sebek, speak directly to the supplicant. Other statues have mechanics for moving the statue's arms and mouth. Before anyone can make a devotion, however, he must first be purified. This is the reason why in Islam, they do what is called voodoo. Voodoo, you running from my magic. Right, that's Brother Jay, you don't know nothing about that. That's old school. Usually the person was anointed with oil and cleansed with water from the sacred lake. Some supplicants are permitted to sleep in the temple in the hopes of Sebek will visit them in a dream. This process of sleeping was common in many ancient religions and was called encomissis, encomissis, or incubatios by the Greeks. Supplicants share sleep on the floor of the temple. When they awake, they describe their dreams to the priest, who will offer an interpretation. Anyone killed by a crocodile is considered sacred to Sebek. Nobody is permitted to touch the body except the priest, Sebek priest. The body is treated with reverently. It's bathed and anointed, then mummified and buried. Relatives and loved ones take no part in the rituals, but can participate in the burial. All right, see S.E. Mortimer. All right, so Messa, a Meshi, Messiah, a Messa means to anoint using the fat of the crocodile. As you see here, this is the picture that you see here to the right. All right, and I'm not going to read everything because we basically got this concept down pat now. But let's go down here. You're going to see what it says. It says right here, Messa, the anointed one, although the ancient Aferti, the chosen. All right. It says Pharaoh is a Greek translation, was anointed, and the true Tamaray Egyptian word for was taken from the Egyptian language Messa, which means crocodile, the strength for strength. The fat of the crocodile was made into an oil that was used to anoint. Yes, there was Arafati, who was, oh, excuse me. Damn, I'm sorry. Can I do that? How can I change it? I don't know how I can change it. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it from over here then. No, I can't even, what?
Go ahead, I'll handle it.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, this is the important thing here. It says was part that the pharaoh basically was part of the crocodile, the anointed one that they are referring to as Krishna. And basically even the word Christ was taken from the Greek word Christos in Sanskrit. All right, and Christ is Kares, and Krishna was really the Tamarian Egyptian word for Kares, meaning anointed, and Krishna is Christo, Kares, Krishna, Hari Krishna, and Enki is incarnated into or as Osiris, which is, you know what I'm saying, which is talking about being blue or brown or green and black, and Osar, Horus, Vishnu. He is also Teshaka, king of the Nagas, before Buddha, which is Ptah, and the Hindu serpents, much more. In any case, all the religious fanatics are waiting for someone. The Muslims is waiting for the Mahdi. Iran wanted to press the nuke button because they believe that they brought forth the return of their, which would bring forth the return of their God. The Jews are shitting themselves, believing that, or Jewish, or shitting themselves because they have not got CERN up to fully capacity, to the full capacity to bring their Messiah down. And the Christians are looking for a guy on the cloud with a lamb around his neck, you know what I'm saying, with 5, 6 young innocent children around him, around his feet. Yet we have Nibiru by the sun right now. All right, the image shown here is Jehuti or Tahuti, and this is the Ibis head, Thoth, meaning master of divine words and sacred writings, anointing Horus with what? The crocodile fat of Sebek. The concept of the dragon in Celtic mythology emerges directly from the holy crocodile, the Messiah of the ancient Egyptians. The pharaohs was anointed with crocodile fat and obtained the fortitude of the Messiah, thus Messiah, the anointed one. The image of the intrepid Messiah evolved to become the dragon, which in turn became the emblem of the kingship. Right, the Celtic kings in Britain was called the dragons in the ancient Messiah traditions as intrepid guardians. The first Pendragon, all right, or Pendragon, head dragon, or high king was Cymbeline, right, or Cymbeline, and it says right here, and in the Egyptian pantheon of gods, Anubis, Ampu, is associated with the jackal, and in virtually every Egyptian text or drawing in which he is featured, he appears either as a slick black jackal or a man with a head of a jackal. He is the son of Osiris, which is also and Nebhet, which is Nephi, which means the hidden one, Sirius C, and was originally considered a mortuary deity. In one of the ancient Egyptian myths, the laminations of Isis or Set, it is Anubis Ampu that taught Isis or Set to how to prepare the body of the slain Osiris or Sar for a proper burial. He formulated the embalming oils and devised the method of wrapping the body with strips of cloth, hence swaddling clothing, just like your Jesus. The word Messiah came from the Egyptian word Meshi, which means to anoint with crocodile fat. So the Messiah eventually became associated with the symbol of the king. Kings were anointed and thus gained the Messiah's strength, as well as in the Old Testament, the Bible, you had the Leviticus priests, they was anointed, right? Evolving into Sebek, crocodile god, and Neith, son in Egypt, evolved into Shoshet, Sosho in Greece, becoming the basis for Celtic dragons and dragon mythology in the Orient, in Asia. So Sebek and Horus represents two powerful opposing psychic forces found in all human beings, the old and the new part of ourselves. The crocodile god Sebek is associated with the reptilian brain, the primordial, non-verbal part of the brain that ensures our physical survival at the level of stimulus and response. The reptilian brain holds the very ancient evolutionary pattern from which that we've evolved. It has kept us protected, alive, and grows forward. In opposition to Sebek is Horus, Heru, right? In which that is associated with the neocortex. Hence the term Neo. Reason why Neo was Neo in the movie Matrix was because he represented Heru, Horus, the sun. This is why in the third and the last one, the mother, Oracle, asks the little child, did you do that? In other words, move the sun across the sky, bring the sun out. And she said, yes, that's the memory of Neo. All right, showing you that. So who serves at the center of the higher mental faculties from humans? The neocortex is also associated with our higher chakras, and all, among other things, relate to the connection with spirit. To create balance in our lives, Sebek and Horus has come into this world as adversarial allies. In this task, to create a harmonious union within our psyches. So Sebek is also an ancient creator god who is linked with both Ra and Horus, and who shares a temple with Horus at Komobo. Therefore, the long history of Egypt has representation has changed. During the Old Kingdom, Sebek was revered as a god of the Nile and the flood, bringing fertility, while at the same time feared as a god of destruction. For the Mid-Kingdom onward, he was closely associated with Ra, the sun god, and during Greco-Roman times, Hathor, the goddess of reconciliation, and was considered to be his consort and consul, right? Where you get the word mitochondrial consul, all right, the moon god, their child, right? So consul, which is a form of Haru or Horus, is also their child, all right? Now you get the book Metru Neter, Volume 1, The Great Oracle of Tahuti and the Egyptian System of the Spiritual Cultivation by Raoul Nefer Amen or Shechem or Shechem. He says on page 230, 233 that Sebek is the name given to the planet Mercury, right? Which is talking about Kundalini. This is talking about Kundalini. Mercury is the image of Kundalini. And it has Mercury, if you ever see the image, has on this cap with the feathers from it, which symbolizes the activation of the left and right hemisphere of the brain, all right, or expansion, quick expansion, all right, because he was also called Quicksilver, all right, Mercury and Quicksilver. This is the Greco-Roman name, right? And Mercury also had a staff of the caduceus in his hand, all right, in which that symbolized, once again, Kundalini. And by the Egyptians during the Greco-Roman time, earlier it was called Sepku. Sepku now. In astrology, Mercury is styled the messenger of the gods. So the Kundalini is the messenger of the gods, right? Sebek is the messenger of the gods. This is because it correlates to the language and verbalizing centers, the Borka and the Winiki, which are located in the left hemisphere of the cerebrum, which are the cherubims. We must take note of the fact that all of other faculties are only able to communicate sensations and images. Verbal thinking is a process of putting into verbal form informing, which is felt, images or image or already known non-verbally. All right, so this becomes very clear. All right, if we were to practice clipping your thoughts as soon as they begin to appear, you will receive or realize that even though you suppress the completion of the sentence or paragraph, you are still able to know what the words are going to indicate. This is because the knowledge of what you clothe in thought precedes the mental verbalization of such knowledge. Sebek translates these nonverbal messages into words. If the name, definition, and logical activity considered these nonverbal messages are in harmony with reality, then the way is open for the indwelling intelligence to extend its operations to the outer career, marriage, etc., part of our lives. Otherwise, it is closed. All right, and this is just some important things here. I'm not going to read everything, but we're going to come on down. All right. And when the inferior man descended into this world like unto the super form in himself, there are found two spirits, so that man is formed from two sides, from the right and then from the left, right? Hence the ka and the ba, right? All right, now we even come down. There are a few things that can be revived the process, revel the process of a great deal of information without understanding. Check this out. Seku, Sebek, or Sebek, and Sobek are etymologically linked or related to Seb, from whence Sabah or Sabu, which is Sebi, are derived, as in Dr. Sebi. And Seb, which is Geb, is the name for the earth god. So Sebek or Seku corresponds to information derived from the earthly experience, from outside of ourselves, as opposed to spiritual intuitive wisdom. We all have Seba to educate, Sabu, school, or Sebek, pupils, and Sebi, teacher, is always derived from Sebek, right? So what we find out is is that, as we went over the other night, that the word so-called Nagu, which is the egg, the goose that laid the golden egg, the Nagu or Negar, right, is basically the goddess Heru, but is also the image and after the likeness of Geb, right? Geb, right? And I won't go into that tonight, but the father of the serpents is Geb, who was the god of earth and the father of the gods. The snake was linked to life after death and the recurring cycle of life during the Egyptian obsession with the quest for eternal life. And he became a symbol of survival after death, even resurrection among the ancient Egyptians. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, misnomed by E.A. Wallace Budge, called once again the Out of the Mouth Ceremony, or the Book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, sometimes referred to by its precise title, chapter 87, we are told the transformation into a serpent upon death gives new life to the deceased, right? So he's the father of the serpents. Gab is the father of Seb. Remember Gab as in Gabriel, the archangel Gabriel, who's head of the cherubims or cerebrum, your brain, two parts, right? And Seb, which is, as in biblically, Joseph, who happens to be the stepfather of Jesus. So the father of the serpents, and remember, Jesus himself said, I would be like Moses and lift up the serpent in the wilderness. Be ye gentle be as gentle as doves, but yet wise as a serpent. Well, here it is, the Nagas or the Nagin. All right, so this is what we're talking about right here. All right, and then we have what they're really talking about is that the nucleus, because remember, we're talking about the Nagu, which is the goose that laid the golden egg. What is the golden egg? The nucleus of the sperm cell is also egg-shaped, as well as also surgically, as you see here, the ovary, and you have the follicle, and then you have the egg. Right? This is actually what you can see inside of the woman's womb. So the egg and the head of the sperm is egg-shaped. This happens to be the goose that laid the golden egg. What color is the egg in which that you're looking at from coming out of the follicles of the ovary? It is what color? It is golden. The goose that laid the golden egg. Oh, shucks. Correlates to the egg of the, as you see here, and the sperm as that also of the planet Earth and the sun. Woo, good God Almighty. Look at that correlation there. Also symbolizes the aura, is the electromagnetic field that surrounds the human body and every organism and object in the universe. This auric egg emits out from the body approximately 2 to 3 feet on all sides. It extends above the head and below the feet into the ground. Right? So we told you Geb was the Egyptian god of the earth, and later a member of the Ennead, which is 9 of Heliopolis, On, which is Ra. All right. He had a viper around his head and was thus also considered the father of snakes. Because look at the sperm. The sperms look like snakes. There it is. The sperm looks like snakes. Oh, shucks now. The Nagu. See how this connects? This is what we're here to do. We're here to bring all this together. You know what I'm saying? Too many phony things out here. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to connect these pieces. All right, so we know that Geb is Gabriel, which is in your Bible, Luke 1:26-38, right? And it says right here that in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent to God from God unto the city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin expound to a man whose name was Joseph, or the house of David. To the virgin's name was Mary. So all of this is ancient Kemet information. Geb and Gabriel, or Seb, or Joseph and Gabriel is nothing but Geb. And Mary is nothing but Set, the virgin. And Mary, which is Set, happens to be the daughter of Geb. This is why in the Apocrypha, Joseph is 52 years old and Mary is 14 when she had Jesus. Because she was young enough to be Joseph's daughter. See, you took this as a story of incest. This is talking about metaphysics. This is why you got to read the other stories. So we talked about Nubiru, and also we talked about Kachina. You know that Nubiru is Sirius C that comes around through our universe every 3,600 years. The sun has its companion next to it. Here are actual photos. All right. We've seen it. Here it is. Actual photos. But see, they don't want you to see this. So this is why the chemtrails are up in the sky nearly every day. Because they don't want you to see our sun and Kachina and Nubiru, and Nebhiru, which means the golden light. Nebhiru means the golden light. They don't want you to see behind the sun, behind our sun, which is going on now, which is Sirius C. And Kachina, as you see above here, which looks like an eye looking down at you.
Nicolesblackberry, she said, I've been meaning to send this, and I appreciate the information that you both shared. It is life-changing. She super chatted $40.
Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Woo.
And then brother Johnny Boy's son, he kicked
Johnny Boy's son.
He kicked it off, guys. His super chat. I'm talking about he was first to get
Johnny Boy's son.
Dope in his hand.
Look, Johnny Boy's son. Son, let me tell you, son.
You won.
You know what I'm saying, son? All right. That's what I'm talking about. So we know that Jesus is the sun, as we talked about. Lucifer is Venus. Satan is Saturn, astrologically. All right. So we know Sunday is for the sun, you know what I'm saying, which is gold. Monday is for Monday, which is the silver. Mars is Tuesday, which is iron, right? Mercury is Wednesday, which is quicksilver. Jupiter is Thursday, tin. Venus is Friday, copper. Saturday or Saturn, which is lead. All right, you get this? This is the 7 alchemical planets, all right? But Jesus is the sun in your Bible. Lucifer is Venus, all right, which is the brightest star, or which is actually not a star, it's a planet, y'all. So Venus is the brightest planet in our visible seen state. Every morning, you know what I'm saying, it's called the morning star. So you see Saturn, if right before horizon, you see the brightest object in the night sky, which is Venus, which symbolizes what? Love. So Lucifer symbolizes love. Hence, Lucifer symbolizes the Kundalini at the base chakra, and the color of Lucifer at the base chakra is the color red, which is the devil. This is how Lucifer and the devil becomes associated. But the reason why it's talking about Venus, which is love, is because you can transform lust into love. So, but only way you can do that is by raising Kundalini, Lucifer, which is also Uriel in Hebrew. All right, up beyond what we refer to as the sacrum, which is the sacred area in your body, which is that downward triangular form, downward triangular shape structure at the base of your spine, right above the caucus. All right, and of course, Saturn is Satan. Satan, yeah, Satan, which is talking about lead. You're supposed to transform lead to gold. Right, so from lead, which is Saturday, to Venus, copper, to Jupiter, tin, to Mercury, quicksilver, to Mars, iron, to Monday, silver, to Sunday, gold, or the sun gold, or moon silver. Right, so this is talking about the 7 chakras right now. Right, this is what this is talking about, the 7 chakras. And you're supposed to transform. This is the alchemical principle of the 7 planets. This is your Orisha. These are your law. These are your 7 Elohims. Shit, I'm trying to explain some shit to you. These are the 7 eyes of Allah, the 7 eyes of God, mentioned in the book of Revelation. These are your 7 weekdays. Thus, the 7 planets were the 7 old gods of the Babylonian Shamash, which is the sun, Sin, the moon, Nebo, Mercury, Ishtar, Venus, Nagal, Mars, Marduk, Jupiter, and Ea, which is Saturn. They have other names or gods in nearly every Oriental country. To the Hebrews, they are the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Semiel, Uriel, Amiel, and Zartiel. To the early Christians, they were the angels of the 7 churches. They also were represented among the Jews, Babylonian, Egyptians, and Persians by 7 branches candlesticks, or the menorah, or the 7 flame altar on fire. You see? But we are told that the number, now understand, that's why I had to go back to that, because we're talking about the chakra system. And we know that also what we refer to as the sun is also called Adalabrov. All right, because Adalabrov, which is the sun, our sun, broke out from the implosion of, this is what is meant in the Gnostic scripts, that Adalabrov broke out of the womb early from out of Sophia, the mother. The mother is talking about Sirius B. Right, Zigitolo, in which that broke out, Polotolo, Zigitolo, Emiya, remember? And from out of Zigitolo, the sun broke forth, which is talking about Adalabrov, and formed these other planets here. You get this? These become the children of the sun. Okay? Even though the moon isn't a planet, you know what I'm saying, per se. But also you have the earth here in the scenario, which actually moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, and then also the earth becomes the 7 children of the sun, which is Adalabrov. Reason why I be saying is because you get the story which comes from out of the Dogon. We are told that the Nommos will come again. Who are the Nommo? The Nommo is Sebek, Mashiach, the Messiah. A certain star in the sky will announce one more and will be the testament to Nommo's resurrection. Well, goddamn it, you living in it right now. What is this certain star in the sky? Well, goddamn it, I just showed you the stars in the sky. There it is, Kachina, the sun, and Sirius C. There it is. Bam! And I cannot say, damn! Another dope jam. Up against me, number one. One. You get that shit? So a certain star in the sky will announce once more and will be the testament of the Nommo resurrection. When the Nommos originally landed on Earth, he crushed the fox, thus making his future domination over the Earth, which the fox had made. So perhaps man's brutish nature has already been significantly subdued in our distant past. Perhaps it was those visitors whom the Dogon called the Nommos who really did crush the fox in us. All right? Because remember, the fox is actually talking about Ampu, Anu, which is talking about the Sirius consonant constellation. And what it's talking about crushing is talking about when Sirius C breaks out of the formation and comes within our solar system. Right, every 3,600 years. All but destroy Ogo. Who's Ogo? Ogo is a dollar broth, god damn it. Let's talk about the sun. Here you have Sirius C, which is Nibiru, right on top of the sun, right near the sun. This is what is called the crushing. All right. You know, just like when, you know, you in high school, you know, shit, you know, brothers, you know, you might have a little honey that's, you know, that song got a crush on you, nigga. Or, you know, you crushing, you know what I'm saying? You see it? You see what I'm talking about? Or, you know, sisters, you know, hey, you might, you know, have your little, you know, boy crush, as they say, whatever that means, you know what I'm saying? So this is what they talking about. So, this is the crushing, all right, and has given us all the best elements of society we possess. We remain as a curious mixture of brute and civilized, struggling against Ogu within us. Ogu is the sun outside, but as above, so below. As within, so without. So Ogo, not just the sun up in the sky, it is also the solar plexus within man, which is the apex of the three lowest chakras, or is part of the three lowest chakras, which is part of the four devils that is told to us within the nation of gods and earth, as well as also within the NOI, Nation of Islam. So in the Sirius mysteries, was Earth visited by intelligent beings from a planet in the system of the stars of Sirius? Well, it says the placenta was used by the Dogon as the symbol of a system of a group of stars or planets. Our own solar system seems to be referred to as Ogu placenta. Why was it referred to as Ogu placenta? It's because our sun broke out of the star constellation Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C. So Sirius C comes by, which is Emiya, which symbolizes the mother principle, come by and check on the child of Sirius B. Every 3,600 years, god damn it. Whereas the system of the star Sirius and its companion stars and satellites is referred to as Nommo's placenta. Whereas the system of the star Sirius, so Sirius is getting serious. It's getting serious for your love. Let's get serious. God damn it. Sirius is here. Sirius C is here right now. And they got to hide that shit from you. They got to hide it. Chemtrails. It's hidden. You can't see it, but I showed you. I showed you the shit, goddamn it. There they are right there. And Shakina, Katina, whatever they call that shit. I'm getting so damn excited, damn getting tongue-tied and shit. Excuse me. All right. But here we have Sirius C, which is right there in the middle, over top of the sun, and right above that is we'll get it right. Kakina. whatever. Y'all get it. All right. Now, let's look at it. Nommo is a collective name for the great civilization or cultural hero and founder of civilization who came. See, the founders, Nommos, the Syrian were the Nommos, who are the Anunnakis, who are the Syrian beings or Nuberians who came here. See, we are the Nuberians. Who you think? All right, if Nibiru is back here right now, which is 3,600 years later, who you think is coming down? You think, see, the Albion believe that it is coming. They're coming down like that. No, they're not coming from out of the ship like that. Remember, they travel here on beams of light. God damn it. I just told you that shit. And I told you to watch the movie Capex, where the dude, Kevin Spacey's consciousness came into a paraplegic. What is it? Paraplegic. And he was in a wheelchair and he was in a so-called crazy house. All right. And he came down into that being, that person who was out of it and woke up the consciousness. Okay. So what it's talking about is that with Sirius C coming through here, it symbolizes that energy from Sirius coming directly into our atmosphere for the first time in 3,600 years. Now, how we get this 3,600 years? Go and read Zechariah Ascension's information. He tells you that Sirius comes, that Nibiru comes through every 3,600 years. But they didn't tell you that Nibiru was Sirius C. See, I'm telling you this science. We got to get this shit right. All this false information out here. All this bullshit. So Nommo is the name for the great cultural hero and founder of civilization who came from the Sirius system to set up society on Earth. How did he come? Came as consciousness. Because now that Sirius C is in the atmosphere, we receive Sirius C energy directly. And this is why they got the goddamn chemtrails up in the sky in order to block that shit out. This is why chemtrails are made of aluminum. What if you hold a piece of aluminum up to the goddamn sky? What happens? The shit reflects back up. It don't come down. This is what they want. They trying to block out the motherfucking energies of Sirius. Because Sirius C is right here. Nibiru is right here, goddammit. Or to be more precise, the Nommos were amphibious creatures. God damn it, you amphibious right now. You 75% water. You only 25% apparent solid. And even then, those atoms are 99.9999% empty space. These Nommos are more or less equivalent with the Sumerians of Babylonian traditions of Onans. Get the Akan, the other Africans, and the star in the Sirius star system. The Akan, other Africans, and the Sirius star system. The Akans are the descendants of Yami, Enki, and by extensions, the Syrian reptilians. I didn't write the book. The suggestions that I would like to make is the section that the Akans are descendants of the Enki in the sense that it is said that the creator God used his own DNA in some of the genetic experiments. This will be a difficult conclusion for some Akans, perhaps even some Africans and other people to entertain, which is that the beings that they call God is actually extraterrestrials, who is more or one of their ancestors. In other words, your ancestors. And the Akan have in their oral history very intimate and detailed accounts of their creation by these extraterrestrials being from the star constellation, what? Star system Sirius! Let's get serious, and let's get serious, and let's get serious for your love. See, we might as well damn name this shit tonight. Damn, let's get serious. Shit. So the Syrians, goddammit. The Syrians are the original builders of the planetary architecture. And this is why remember, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, goddamn brilliant God man on this goddamn planet. from Mesra Muhammad told you the black man is the maker, the owner, the cream of planet Earth, father of civilization, God of the universe. God of the universe. The Syrians are the original builders of the planetary architecture. And this is why some higher fictions of Syrian races, the Lyra Syrian councils, that live in the law of one are also called the Guardians. The Guardians, as in the Guardians of the Galaxy. These are Syrian beings, so they always got that European. That's why they had to make the movie, to put in your mind that the sister was just green. But that was also symbolic, because not only is she, as you know, she's a sister, you know what I'm saying? But she's also green in the movie, which symbolizes or Saw, or Syrians, or Esther, or Set in the Sumerian or Egyptian text. And remember, she'll kick everybody ass on the ship. All right? For the Guardians or the Guardian host, the Syrian star in the Canaan's major constellation acts as a transmission agent and higher self principle for the planet Earth in universal time matrix. Woo! I don't think y'all understand what the fuck we just said. The transmission agent and higher self principle for the planet Earth. So Sirius C is making you go towards your higher self. Kachina, Sirius C, which is Nibiru, our sun, and the motherfucking blood moon the other night. With the eclipse. This is some powerful shit going on, y'all. The Syrians had both positive and negative impacts on the Earth evolution. As the star Sirius is a planet in higher dimensions and portions of the timeline, the Sirius B planet were corrupted through Orion group and reptilian invasion. During the second seeding phase of the planet Earth, renegades from Sirius that was influenced by the Luciferian Maldek, which actually is not just a race, it was a planet that was situated between Jupiter and Mars. Races decided they wanted to create their own host bodies and get away from the administrative structure of many of ambassadors based the existence in the star system Sirius. Sirius B in the highest dimension, which is 24th, the 24th dimension. I told you in hyperdimensional physics, they found 27 dimensions. Sirius B is the 24th highest. You, which is this system, is a child of Sirius B. All right, here they come again. Let me pass this shit by. All right, so we ain't gonna read everything. Shit, come on down. Come on down. All right, so right here. So to destroy the higher dimensional timeline access between Syrians in the low density of the sixth dimension, they had access to the conglomerates of interdimensional free world systems. The Drak, which is the Draconians, the Draco, invaded sections of the stellar body to destroy communication and install artificial intelligence to take control their technology and data system. Now check this out. These factions of Syrian rebels use advanced technology to change the orbit of their planet to catch a ride on the trajectory of our sun. This planet is known as Nibiru. They decided to strike out on their own and dominate and rule. Other cultures, other planets adopt the war-like behavior attitudes with previous reptilian overlords. They created a new race of bodies, which is called Nephilims, which with the support of some fractions of Elohims and reptilians supported their race of giants. The Sirius B was hosting the second cycle of seeding the human race on the Earth, and in retaliation to their power and control over the Earth evolution, the ancient Anunnakis adapted their new relatives from Nibiru. Right? They demanded that the Syrians and their races have placed the evolution of Earth as equal placement to the human beings, because they did not have the ability to evolve with source creator. This was a hidden deception, as they were not interested in equality or evolution of the planet, equality or evolution of the planet, but that the giant Nephilims could be controlled easily and directly by them off planet. All right, now understand, this is where you get some of this channel information from, which some of it is inaccurate. And I'll tell you the parts that they're talking about, which is inaccurate. Real simple. These Nephilims that they are calling are of course the giants. All right. And the Syrian beings, all right, did make these giants. All right. At one time, they stood 36 feet tall, down to a size of 25 feet, down to 18 feet, down to 12 feet, 11 feet, all right, down to 9 feet, eventually 7 feet, hence the basketball players today, all right? Some claim that they even got as high as 100 feet tall in some books that you might read, all right? There's various books that you can get on that information about the giants in the land, all right? We talked about several books, and I'll give you the names of them, all right? All right, you want to get Human Devolution, a Vedic alternative to Darwin's theory.
That's Human Devolution, a Vedic alternative to Darwin's theory.
You also want to get Discovering the Mysteries of Ancient America, right? You also want to get Technology of the Gods, The Incredible Sciences of the Ancients by David Hatcher Childress. You also want to get The Mysterious Origins of Hybrid Man, right? And Everything You Know Is Wrong by Lord Pi, Book 1, Human Origin, right? You want to get The Lost Knowledge of the Ancients. You want to get that book, all right? So these are just some of the books that you definitely want to get your hands on, all right? All right, so get those, and also get this other books that you can get specifically on the giant. All right, but we'll get to those a little bit later here. All right, so what they talking about? See, that Albion makes Nibiru and the Anunnakians, who are the Syrian beings, negative. All right, which are actually you. You are the Syrians. You are the Anunnakians, the Nibirians. Okay, so he makes the negative. Now, go and check out American Native Wisdom Keeper, right? And the sister is Nancy Red Star. Right, she's Native American, right? Nancy Red Star, right? But she drops it and she tells you that the Anunnakians or the Syrian beings were the black people. Get the Explore Race, Earth History, and Lost Civilizations. When Earth was in Sirius, long ago when this planet was still in the Sirius star system. See, this is what we're talking about, that when we talking about that our sun, all right, broke out of Sirius. Even today, we still travel with Sirius around through the 12 zodiac signs every 25,928 years. Long ago, when this planet was still in the star system, Sirius, the surface of the planet is contoured very similar, not exactly the same, but similar. Some of the mountains we have here now was much taller. Some were still growing. Perhaps the most striking difference was that much of the planet is covered by water. Hence, if you go and watch Kevin Costner's Water World, that's what it was like. So, Nommos, dolphins, and whale people. The Nommos are a race of beings that takes the physical form of dolphins, whales, mermaids, mermans. Their home world is a planet in the star system Sirius that is mostly warm aqua blue water. Right, this is October 27, 2001. This is an article. Many of the Nommos walk upright. They are known for their highly advanced use of sound. I have had a personal experience with these beings who took me to their planet during the dream state. All right. So come down. He says the Nommos play an important role in Earth's evolution. Right now, they are the guardians in the guise of the portion of etheric. Check this out, of etheric Syrians who are in dolphins, whales, mermaids, mermans, bodies in order to maintain the biosphere of Earth. Check this out now. This shit gonna get deep. The Etherian Syrians are a soul group that was given Earth as their new home when their former home, Sirius B, imploded. There it is. When Earth ascended, the Etherian Syrians will take over as guardians of this planet. Who are the Etherian Syrians or etheric Syrians? We'll get to that. Those in aquatic forms will have the choice to change form and take on human bodies, walk the earth as the land guardians. Many of the etheric Syrians in aquatic forms are making the choice now and therefore are beaching themselves. They are returning to the Nommo's homeland for training of being in a human body so they can return to Earth as land guardians. Those who are of Etherian Syrian or etheric soul group, Syrian soul group, are usually very drawn to whales and dolphins. They also can be found in organizations and groups which focus on healing the earth and conserving her resources. Check this out. The majority of etheric Syrians are found among the black, red, and brown races of Earth. And this is an Albion woman telling you this. Get the book Science of the Dogon, Decoding African Mystery Traditions by Larry Scarant. All right. Sacred Symbols of the Dogon, the key to advanced science in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. The cosmological origins of the myths and symbols from the Dogon, the ancient Egypt to India, Tibet, and China by Lord Stratton. Strange connections with other civilizations, amphibious, godlike beings appeared in other ancient cultures outside of Dogon. All right, ancient civilization from Babylonia to Greece and even Slavic nations depicts aquatic beings in their mythology. One interesting connection some has drawn that Dogon is that of Dogu in Japan. Alternative theories point to a statue of the Dogu, which name is similar to Dagon or Dogon. The resemble an astronaut or being in a spacesuit. The Dogu are thought to have arrived in flying ships, bringing written language and many aspects of civilization to Japan. Interestingly, in ancient Mesopotamian lore, there is a deity called Dagon or Dagon, right? Or Dagan, depicted as a mermaid or fish god. This depiction can also be seen in the Hebrew Bible, all right? So, but the Dogon's connection with Egypt is the most intriguing because the ancient Egyptians were the Dogon. Did marine geologists capture this video footage of an aquatic humanoid? This footage was revealed by Animal Planet, a division of Discovery Communication that has a reputation for presenting scientific information to their viewers on the full range of life within the animal kingdom. It is known as an educational channel, so for them to present something completely fictional is highly questionable. But obviously it's not questionable because they show you the being. See, whoever wrote this article is linear minded because they said it's completely fictional. But obviously it's not. This aquatic being called Nommos, and their homeland is a planet in the star system, Sirius star system. They are the guardians and guides of the portion of etheric Syrians who are incarnated in dolphins, whales, mermaid bodies in order to maintain the biosphere of Earth. And who are they? You are the land guardians. Remember the land guardians, right? Those who are the etheric soul, Syrian soul group are usually very drawn to whales and dolphins. This also has been found in organizations and groups which focus on healing the earth and conserving their resources. The majority of etheric Syrians are found among the black, red, and brown races of the earth. So this actually is an aquatic being of who she's talking about, the merman or mermaids. This is how they look. All right, this is how they look. So we have the story, right? And we know that this is true, right? Was marine geologists, two of them, actually it was three, the other one wasn't present, but two of them was actually on Animal Planet, which is part of Discovery communication. And they show the pictures, this picture right here of this humanoid, web hands, and obviously web feet. So Ones, the earliest instruction of man in letters, science and art, especially in architecture, geometry, botany, and agricultural, and in all other useful knowledge, were the fish god Onan myth. This universal teacher, according to Borossi, appeared in the Persian Gulf, bordering on Babylonia, and although an animal endowed with reason and great knowledge, the usual appearance of the creature was that of a fish, having a human head beneath that of a fish, and feet like unto a man. This personage conversed with the man during the day, but never ate with them. All right. Now this is the same story told to us. Now this is in Hebrew and out of Babylon, but the same exact story is the Dogon story that we just read from the Dogon people themselves, from the Serious Mysteries. Why is the Pope wearing a goddamn fish hat? The religious Mithri hat from Babylon. The priests of ancient Dagon fish worship. This is the same hat worn by the Pope and bishops of Rome. The Mithri hat of the Dagon priest resembles the open mouth of a fish. Dagon was the fish god of the pagans. Pagans, don't get confused about the word pagan. Pagan just simply means people's traditions. That's all it means. So this personage conversed with men during the day, but never ate with them. At Kolyunjik, which there was a colossal statue of a fish god Onan. The following is from the book of Enoch. The Masons hold that check this out. The Masons hold a grand festival on the day of St. John, not knowing that therein there merely signifies the fish god Onan, the first Hermes Trismegistus, and the first founder of the mysteries, which is Tahuti, Thoth. So Onan is Thoth, Tahuti, the first messenger to whom the apocalypse was given and whom the ignorantly confound with the fabulous author of the common apocalypse. The sun is then midday summer day in the greatest altitude. In this, Noros is commemorated. In this, the Noros is commemorated. Well, this is why all good Christians have on the back of their car the fish. Ichthus, which is Jesus. All right, the I equals Jesus. The X or CH equals Christ. The O equals God. The U equals the Son. And the S equals Savior. So Ichthus is Jesus Christ, God, Son, Savior. Right? So Ichthus, it says, is an anti-Christ scheme. No, it's not. It ain't no scam. It's not a scheme. Actually, Ichthus, which all good Christians have on the back of the car, is a pagan symbol. However, the X is the sun god, which is Ra, which is Ptah, which is Amen, which is Atum. The vesica piscium, which is the fish bladder, is the sacred feminine vulva, which is the vaginal area aspect, to point to Heru, Horus, who is the born to Isis after magical conception or conceiving with the phallus replaced by Tahuti for or Saw, which is Osiris, lost when it was eaten by the fish or by SEBEK, which is the fish, the great fish, the crocodile, or a crab, scavenger of the waters. The Messianic association, or hermaphroditic, aka Baphomet. Right? The Vesica Piscean, which is Ichthys, represents the intersection of God and man, heaven and earth. So the Phoenician relief from the palace of Sargon, or Sargon, which is 700 BC, the mermaid can be seen in the circle. Here it is in India. Here it is on the vase, 540 BC in Etruria. According to the Mexican legend, 4 ages, the epochs, son of water, in the great flood, all mankind are changed into fish. Perhaps this message from the message which the head of the fish, which is the Nommo. So all mankind was changed into fish. We know that Onan, mainly through the stories of the 3rd century BC Babylonian priest and scribe named Beroso or Beloso or Belosis, right? Or Berosis. Only fragments of the writings survive. So the tale of Onan has been handed down mainly through the summaries of his writings by Greek historians, and here's one fragment, right? In the first year after the flood appears an animal endowed with human reason named Onan, who rose from out of the Erythraean Sea at the point with the borders of Babylonia. He had the whole body of a fish, but above his fish head, he had another hand in which that of a man, and human feet emerged from beneath his fish tails. He had a human voice, and the image of him is preserved unto this day. He passed the day to the midst of men without taking food. He taught them to use of letters, science, and art of all kinds. He taught them to construct cities, to found temples, to compile laws, and explain to them the principles of geometrical knowledge. He made them distinguish from the seeds of earth and showed them how to collect the fruits. In short, he instructed them in everything which tends to be soften human manner and humanize their laws. From this time, nothing material has been added to the way of improvement in his instruction. And when the sun set, thus Odin retired again to the sea, for he was amphibious. This is from an ancient fragment by I.P. Corey. All right. So we thinking in this way, right? Check this out. We're gonna get to what this metaphysically means, because remember, as above, so below. As within, so without. So we show you the without science of this aquatic being called the Nomos, right? That we just went over, which actually is you as the land guardians, they as the water guardians. But they evolved from you, all right? Because you came from the planet Sirius, from a planet in the star constellation system Sirius. So did they, because you were the land guardians and they are the water guardians. And I'll get to what I'm talking about, because this is real simple once you come to understanding that, right? Here, sea versus land turtles. So sea turtles versus land turtles. See, you have sea turtles, hence humanoid, mermaids, mermans, that's in the waters. And you have land turtles. See, you are the land turtle, nuggers. And then sea turtles, nuggers, which are the Syrian beings, the kings, the gods, the planet Earth, father civilization, gods of the universe. Right? So understand what we're talking about here. We're putting all this together because I'm tired of the nonsense out here. The Dogon said the astrological knowledge was given to them by the Nomos. That's what we just read. Amphibious beings sent to the earth from Sirius for the benefit of mankind. The name came from Dogon, which means to make one drink. All right. And the Nomos are also called masters of the world, the moderators and the teachers. The Dogon tells the legend about the Nomos, says they was awful looking beings who arrived in the vessel along with thunder and fire. After they arrive here, they put out a reservoir as a lake, all right, of water unto the earth that dove into the water, right? There was references in the oral traditions, drawings, and cuneiform tablets of the Dogon to human-like beings who have feet, but who are portrayed as having large fish skin running down their bodies. The Nommos are more fish-like than of human, right? And had to live in water. They were saviors and spiritual guardians. The Nommos, Christ, divided his body among men to feed them. Just the same story that we get of Jesus eating of his flesh, which you eat of the little white cracker every month, and third Sunday, fourth Sunday, depending on which what you do in your church there. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Baptist, you get baptized. You know what I'm saying? For you, if you a holy Pentecostal holiness, you get drunk. You know what I'm saying? With the blood of the Lamb. Or get drink, have to drink that wine, which is the blood of Jesus. See, you got to get drunk. You got to make one drink. Dogon means to make one drink. They got to make you drink that wine. That blood of the Lamb. So right here it says the Nommo, Christ divided his body among men to feed them. This is why it is also said that as the universe, he drunk of his body. The Nommos also made men drunk or drink. He gave all his life principles to human beings. Of course he did. The Nommos were crucified and resurrected, and in the future will arrive or will again visit the earth, this time in human form. Oh shit, whoa. This time in human form. Later he will assume his amphibious form and will rule the world from the waters. Dogon mythology is known only by a number of their priests, and his complex system of knowledge is not too complex because I'll figure this shit out and breaking it down to you clearly so you can understand what the hell is going on and your purpose on planet Earth. Such careful, guarded secrets were not but divulged to friendly strangers very easily. If the star Emiya is eventually discovered in the star system, it would give considerable weight to the Dogon story, which they did. They found it in 1995, as I told you earlier. The Nommos, which give life, check this out, Nommos would give life on land, but dwell mostly in the sea, were part fish. There they are. Similar creatures have been noted in other ancient civilizations: Sumer, Babylonia, Onan, Akkadian Ea, which is Enki, Sumer Ea, Enki, and Egyptian goddess Set, Isis, which is also Ishtar within the Sumerian, Mesopotamian story. It was from Nommos that the Dogon claimed their knowledge of the heavens. The Dogon also claimed that a third star, Emiya, exists in the Sirius constellation, larger and lighter than Sirius B. That this star revolved around Sirius as well, and around it orbits a planet from which the Nommos came, the Sirius mysteries. And guess what? You are in that Sirius solar system, or this Sirius system. You are in it. Right? Get this from the Sirius mysteries among the Akan and the other African tribes. Now, it says that the Dogons tells of the story of Nommos, that awfully looking beings who arrived in a vessel along with fire and thunder. That is talking about the sexual act, y'all. The fire and desire. All right, Rick James, bitch. I'm Rick James. Rick James, bitch. So that's old school. You don't know nothing about that. All right, so the ugly, awful looking being is talking about the semen. The way that it looks when it shoots out and it just go everywhere. It look fucking damn discombobulated and shit. It don't look like a 6-pointed star configuration like you do when you see under a microscope. You know what I'm saying? This shit looks like this. It looks kind of, you know, ugly and shit. But inside of this ugliness is the sperm. Inside of the semen is the sperm. Seaman, you get it? The seaman. Oh shit! I just explained it to you. God damn it! Yes, there's a seaman in the water, and there's also a seaman in you.
Somebody in the chat was like, "Ew, that looks
Hey, yes, that's yes, awful looking beings. Oh shit, that's an awful looking being up in that now. It's awfully looking.
It becomes you. God damn it! So you can't be too damn ugly now. All right, from this awfully looking mess here comes some beautiful looking people. All right. Now, that's what you got to understand. That's the real signs, what I just told you. The fire and the thunder. The fire is the sexual energy. The thunder is the spasm of the orgasm, God damn it. That's the thunder. And they arrived in the vessel. The vessel is the physical body as it begins to be formatted and formed and shaped and fashioned within the womb of the woman. Right? This is esoteric information. So not just exoteric, when I can show you an actual merman, mermaid, but also where they come from as you come from, which is called the seaman. Remember the seaman also, which is the sperm which is encased inside of the seaman, is where you come from, woman and man. You both are called merman or mermaids because you come from the seaman. You get it? 75% water. See, you got to get this. This is the supreme axiom, God damn it. As above, so below, as within, so without. Easy to recognize. 7,000 years ago, the Babylonian mythology that there was a god named Ea who later would be called Onan by the Greeks. Ea was the water god. He was depicted with the upper body of a man and lower body of a fish. According to legend, this god Onan, Ea, which is also known as Nommos, had responsibility for teaching everything that is human to Homo sapiens. Of course, because inside is the seed potential, which is the sperm, in which that give you everything that you need to know in life. How you think a baby come out knowing to put its mouth on the tit? Who taught the baby to put the mouth on the tit and that the tit would give the baby some milk? Who taught the baby that? Guardianship of 4 elements and races. At the beginning of the age, the Creator separated the people into 4 colors and gave every race a primary teaching. At the end of this age, there was 4 races will all come back together and share their teachings. And when you come back together with each other, you will share these so that you can live and have peace on earth and great civilization will come about. To the east, he gave the black people or the black race of people the guardianship of the water. So yes, we are the land guardians, but we also have the guardianship of the water. So these are also our children here from the land. Mermaids and mermaids, mermen and mermaids. You don't believe me? Take your ass right now to the Bahamas, to Freeport, and you will see holes, actually on water holes that they have in which that says sacred for the mermaids, and they got a fence around it. If you don't think they exist, and people told us there that they have seen them. So see, this is our limited, you know, we're not holistic in our thoughts. So some of this shit sounds so damn strange, so unbelievable. Stop with that goddamn European nonsense shit. Right? As I showed you, even the Albions and Asians are coming to the conclusion that you have extraterrestrial DNA. And you do, because you are the Syrians. Let's get serious. Let's get serious for your love. Let's get serious.
Baby Erica Hunter, the super chatter, says she appreciates this information.
All right, Erica, that's what I'm talking about. Super chat, super chat, super chat. Because this is some important information that's not being revealed. And so we got to come and reveal this to you because we love you. We love you. Because it's time to get serious. Let's get serious for your love. Ancient Egyptian origin.
Put you in the studio.
All right, let me stop clowning. All right, so right here. The ancient Egyptian origins, the creation of the universe. Check this out now. This third universe created by black and brown Syrians. Oh, wait. This is coming from Antonio Mark McCoy Sr., right? Copywritten back in 2003, 2004, and 2005. Information taken from many of my previous books and websites. All right, this is ancient Egyptian origins now. The creation of the universe, the third universe, was created by black and brown Syrians, or a hollow council, Elohim. It was it of which was the dense physical plane. Then when the first dense physical plane vibratorial beings had existed, who was the physical non-heavenly black and brown Syrians, as was the great God creator of the first flesh being Syrians then, who was fully dense physical beings then. Look at us, or looking as we do today. We are not merely descendants from third dimensional or third universal beings, the black and brown Syrians. The Syrians from the star Sirius A in the planet Chrome and Qatar. Sirius B in the planet Nommo and Narian. Sirius C. The Syrians are the oldest physical race in the galaxy. They of who we ourselves created by the heavenly golden lion race, the Holulians, aliens in the third dimension, because it was the Holulians who had created the third dimension before that. The Holulians were non-physical heavenly beings who existed in their heavenly hyperspace that had no linear time and space. They were them being 7 to 8 feet tall, like the Syrian children are. The Syrians and the Nubarians, the Anunnakis, though are often mistaken. So the Syrians and the vegans, they all being the key black race alien. Them being the main 3 physical black race aliens. Them having all the same origin, Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C, because it is the Syrians who gave rise to both the Anunnakis and the vegans. The Syrians who performed genetic experiments, who had created the vegans and their assistants, and the Syrians who had also gave direct genetics to creating the Anunnakis. Planet Mars has a huge hollow Mars base where the Syrians also occupy. There are also large Syrian moon-sized motherships called Columbia, which orbits between the planet Earth and planet Mars. And them were also amphibian Syrian beings that has base of the planet Neptune and Trident moon, because the Syrians have created the amphibians dolphin gray alien beings. And the Syrians were also evolved in genetic, created a red-skinned alien humanoid race called the Kate, those of who are Syrian vegan and Lyrian descent. The Kate are the benevolent Syrian vegan or vegan species. They are the race that is artistic. They have music and a connection to nature. They are who are the ancestors of the early Indian races, the copper-colored people. They are builders and not very political, because they are involved in spiritual healing technology that works with sound and color instead, and are one with nature. They are the brown race Syrians that are gave raise to the earthly Indian, non-Eastern Indian tribes, as well as the ancient Tibetans. So as the 2 reptilian races evolved, it was known that the Draco reptilians, an evil spirited warrior species, manipulative and deceitful, in their nature, that the earth, check this out. So we're talking about the Albions and who they're connected with. This is what caused the psychosis, or what we call sociopaths and psychopaths. And it says that the earthly reptoids were peaceful, good-hearted race. The Draconians were so evolved that, like the Arturians, they surpassed the physical limitation of their material body, ensuing despite their evil nature. Their carnivorous need to eat and digest solid food developed the ability to ingest their nutrients through pure energy alone. The only problem was that they required energy. Food sources was bad, evil energy. According to order to survive, the Draconians must ingest pure evil energy, and it is this fact alone that turns them simply into self-preservation for the Draconians into an evil agenda. In order to survive, the Draconian reptilians are also rumored to have created the race which we now known as the alien Greys, as the slave race cloned as a source for nutrition. But as the Draconian civilization continued to grow and expand, however, they were wrenched in the gears, for as the reptilians grew in numbers, so did the slave race of Greys, right? All of this is talking about metaphysically the so-called black gods, the Syrian beings, who created the Albion, all right? This is what this is talking about. So the Greys, weary of being drained of their negative energy by the evil race of overlords, revolted, resulting in their freedom from the consumptive bondage of their creators, the Draconian reptilians. They left their captors and apparently continue on with their own agenda. All right, all of that is talking about the same thing that you would read within the 12th planet by Zechariah Ascension, the Stairway to Heaven, the Wars of Gods and Men, the Lost Realm, When Time Began, the First New Age, Genesis Revisited, and the 12th Planet, to me, are the best ones. The Lost Realm tells you that the Olmecs, actually the most powerful one, even though I like the best ones, but the most powerful one actually is the Lost Realms, because Zechariah Ascension goes into that the Anunnakians or the Olmecs in that book. Get that book, The Lost Realms. All right. So we know that the neocortex of the brain is the rational and thinking brain, the limbic brain, the emotional and feeling brain, and the reptilian brain, instinctive, actually is called the dinosaur brain, or the reptilian brain, or the reptilian stem. All right. So here we have Clyde Burrow portrayal of reptiles overshadowing the human while not actually occupying the body. Burrow produced this illustration from the description by one of the countless people I have met, this is talking about David Icke, who see the reptiles on the lower fourth dimension. They appear to attach to humans by two of the lower chakras, which is the first and second chakra. All right. This is a snippet of Robert Morning Sky, excuse me. He's an Apache and a Hopi Native American. All right. And there's a book called The Star Warrior Papers. Right? The reptiles took this world away from the keepers. It is the keepers who wore reptiles to keep back, to gain back this world. The keepers are the Syrian reptilians. The reptiles are the Greys, Regalians, Draconians, and the keepers were free man. All right, so we were free man. Robert Morningstar says the first man was the black man. In fact, Egyptians, though many of those there are not, refer to themselves as black-headed or black-footed people. There was the original Blackfoot, but they remember long ago they were black. Right? I think here was RMS, which is Robert Morningsky is referring to the first man is what Credo Mutua calls the creation of the second people, the black race. Actually, and it ain't the creation. Actually, it's talking about from the star constellation Sirius. When we left from out of the star constellation Sirius and we broke away from the Sirius B, from the implosion, and we formed that our own system here. Right? The first people created on this planet was the Syrian being, or the so-called black race. All right. But we broke out from the first people in the Sirius constellations, which we talked about earlier. But we're one and the same people, the same ancestry. This is why the Albion women had to tell you that the majority of the etheric Syrians were the black, brown, and red people. So let me point out that Robert Morningsky is implying that the first men as humans as today, i.e. the current humans that result from extraterrestrial and guardian genetic experiments. We wasn't genetically experimented on though. We actually are the same people. The ones in which that we ended up experimenting on is everything else on this planet. All right. There has been other humans on this planet in the past. Yes, that was us. All right, in our pristine form. Also, Blackfoot refers to the Native American people, and Robert Morningsky suggests that the original Blackfoots were the blacks. So even Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, the so-called American Indians are coming forth telling you that the original Blackfoot, the original Native Americans, the original Aboriginal indigenous people were blacks. And they were the Syrian beings, the Syrian reptilians. But remember, the Syrian reptilians were those who were earthly reptoids who were a peaceful, good-hearted race. The draconian reptilians or the Meldekians, when they blew up their own world, and now we had to form bodies for them because we understood that we can only graduate as a star system or as a solar system together. So they blew up their own world, and so many of them began having spirits, had to have bodies created for them. So we began to genetically manipulate other animals upon this planet and use some of our DNA to form bodies for them, which becomes the Albions. Right? Webbed toes refers to feet whose toes and tissues in between them, and medically terms as syndactyl and syntactically or zogodactyly, because this although several animals like ducks have webbed feet as part of their normal anatomy, in humans it's a birth defect. Well, here you have the webbed feet and the webbed hands, which happens to be the same as the aquatic beings called the so-called Nommos. See, this gene is still in us. This is how we know that we produce them. Because here it is. The tissue between the toes is often skin, although more severe cases, there may be involvement in bones and tendons. Webbed feet also usually from incomplete separation of adjacent toes during the development, retaining the embryonical form of the toes. Okay? So,
wow.
You don't have to believe it. This is real. And there's a medical condition in which that verified. Remember, we're doing genetic experiments here, y'all. This is a prison planet. This is why Alex Jones called it the prison planet. This was a penal colony. Dr. Deborah Blair and Dr. Reverend Phil Valentine L told you this. He told us this shit. They told us this damn near 30 years ago. So we know that there's land people and there's water people. Just admit that shit. It's just as real as it is. And if you can see, right, the mermaid or merman, as you see here, looks like the reptilian, as you see here, all right, to the right. Look at him. Right? You don't believe me? Well, goddamn, we got the story of a black woman. She killed reptilian in the South in the 1950s. You can go and look at the YouTube. It's based on a true story. Sister came on. She said that it was a so-called black lady, you know, who was a relative of hers, you know, who actually killed a reptilian, and that a ship came down and took the reptilian up after it was killed, because they went back in order to, she went back in order to, you know, show other people what, you know, that she killed it. But when she got back, she saw the UFO come down and pick it up. Right? You still don't believe this shit? Well, goddamn it, get the book Star Ancestors. Indian Wisdom Keeper share the teachings of the extraterrestrial connections. This is Nancy Red Star. This is her right here to the right. And she also tells you on the joint. Hey, this is my last slide, goddamn. I'm tired of talking. She told you on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and pull up Nancy Red Star and go to ancient American extraterrestrial connection. She tells you on there that the so-called black man was the first man and that we created everybody else on the planet, God damn it. She tells you this. Everything and everybody else was created by us. Because I already showed you where we was already on the planet Earth over 2.8 billion years ago in humanoid form with opposing thumbs. Anyway, this is what it says. According to Blackout Through Whitewash, the first Lemurian was androgynous, so-called bisexual, neither male nor female, but both as one. After millions of years, they evolved into female and then male, following in aspects of reproduction. All right, that was after about 150,000 years. The male species came from the female species. All right, I'll get into that. That's another story. The vast number of the souls came from the stars, in particular Sirius, Orion, Pleiades, Arcturus, and etc. Even the Bible tells you that, Job 9:9. All right, check this out. Now, we just talked about the Blackfoot, but goddamn, here it is. The Blackfoot tribe teaches that every star was once a human being. I'm gonna say that as shit again. We told you that you can go back to the stars. We told you that you can transform your body into a macabre. We told you that you can have what is called the rainbow body, where you get or light body or diamond body. The Blackfoot tribes teaches that every star was once a human being. The Dakota tribe, which Nancy Red Star speaks about the Dakotas often, believes she's Dakota. She speaks of the spirit in the sky, often descended to earth in human form. The Hopis call them Kachina. Remember, I told you this was Kachina, that we showed you Kachina earlier. All right, so that means if Kachina is here, Sirius C is here, which is Nibiru and our sun, that means if the Hopis called them Kachinas, and if they come from the sky to earth, that means we have a manifestation going on right now via consciousness inside of the human bodies. That's the influence that is taking place. The Iroquois tells of a woman falling from the skies. The Ariaka teaches man came from a previous world. The Algonquin tells of spirit descendants from the sky under the guise of man. The Chippewa tells of Betsuni Unica, a man from the stars. The Cree speaks of the Sky Father along with the trickster, who we call Ishua Legba, but they call Wishgatka Mansabosa, which aids man and teaches man civilization, which is known who as the Nommo. The Osage refers to the Minkaki, or the star people. According to Star Ancestors, which is by Nancy Red Star, she states, when it was time to populate the earth, many spirits came from other planets, and the spirits entered the atmosphere. They took on the atomic structure, which formed into a body. When we exit, we dematerialize the atomic structure. The Deosophics insists man is definitely older than the ape species. The apes were part of the experiments to make mankind. They state that the first man was ethereal, light beings, hence the ethereal Syrians. When antiquated forms in course of ages became more condensed until it attuned itself to the lower slow vibrations of the material plane, Earth, and assuming an apparent solid physical body. Such materialization descends to the entire visible seen universe. People in not only Earth, but all third-dimensional planets. All right, goddammit, that's it. All right, as we always say, continuing now for days, weeks, months, and years to come, moving towards our most cherished goals of health, wealth, knowledge of ourselves.
My life is becoming
richer with joy and happiness,
security, and full contentment.
Every action, enterprise, and endeavor in which we wish to be involved is bringing increasing rewards.
We are experiencing
more
joy, more frequently. We are
successful and abundance.
Good fortune that we're able to help and share with others that are sincere.
Along the way. We're moving closer towards the oneness of God and Goddess and a full release of our inner higher selves. Ashe, we out, y'all. Peace.
Brother said he
all right, here we go.
You big dummy, you haven't said it.
No, I couldn't say big dummy because that's meant for the law classes that we do. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to that. I had to do Rick James. You know what I'm saying? I had a rhyme in which that went like that. You know what I'm saying? A black boot stomp your white couch like a Rick James, bitch. Yo, tell that white girl, Dave, to go get me a sandwich. All right, we out, y'all.
Please, y'all, thank you so much for the super chats. The ones that super chatted are going to be added to the description in the video. And then also too, for those that are interested, the super chats will go towards the certification for the Healing Wings Institute, because we love to give. And that's the beautiful thing about giving to your people. When you give to your own, you get it back.
In other words, as she said, you will receive certification in the areas in which that you will focus on.
Once your super chat has accumulated to what we asked for the certification. So we're really excited about that. And also too, if you can go to Facebook and contribute and donate to getting that communal living space. It's a 6-bedroom house, and we feel like we are stronger together.
Because we have 80 acres of land and we need to do farming. And we need people who are sincere to come on down and help with the projects.
But you got to have a place to be.
But you got to have a place to live. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hopefully y'all can help put towards that and we can get that space. And therefore, hey, we can start telling y'all to come on down.
Yep, start taking applications for that. Also, too, is being sold by a private seller. So it's not dealing with the bank. But just so much love, so much peace, so much honor and appreciation. And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Peace.